Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and welcome to the Game Exposed podcast. If you guys have a brief question on a narcissist and you want to submit it and have your question answered on the podcast, submit a brief question, you guys, no more than a paragraph because it won't be read. Text your questions to 917-636-1109 and text me your questions, and I'll try to get to as many questions as I can and answer them on the podcast, but please make it brief, no more than a paragraph, okay? 917-636-1109. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and today I'm going to answer some listener questions. So let me just dive right in here, okay, you guys? First question they ask, thank you for all you do on the podcast. I've been listening for the past 8 months, and it has helped me recognize all the patterns of abuse from my narc. But why do narcissists need control so bad over the restaurants we eat, who drives the car, what relatives we can visit, even who has possession of our child's passport? So they want to know, why does a narcissist constantly need control? And we know narcissists need control of everything, all right? Depending on how narcissistic they are. The more narcissistic they are, the more they have this constant need and thirst for control. But the reason that narcissists need control is a lot of times during their childhood development, they didn't feel like they had control growing up, all right? Either they were over-validated or they were under-validated as a child, and they never felt safe. They never felt in control in a situation growing up. So this has a huge impact on somebody. And what that creates when you're a child growing up and you feel like you're in an environment that you're out of control, maybe it's very toxic home that you grew up in, or maybe you were the spoiled child who never had boundaries. You never felt like you had any kind of control. You never had any validation, or you were over-validated. What is this going to create? It's going to create anxiety, okay? Go listen to my podcast about how narcissists, they're they're filled with anxiety, you guys. This is why they do a lot of what they do. So their thirst for control is to ease that anxiety within themselves, because narcissists are, a lot of them are a nervous wreck. They're not, they can't just let things go. They worry about things a lot of times. Sometimes they show their worry. Sometimes they don't show their worry. But when they control things, when you look deep into it, why somebody controls things is because it eases their anxiety and, creates a little bit of peace in them when they're controlling everything. When somebody else is controlling the situation, where you go, where you eat, what you do, you don't feel like you're in control, and it could cause anxiety, like something's going to go wrong, or the other person's going to have more power over you, and it makes you more codependent. And all of these things cause anxiety in a narcissist. So the reason that they have this need for control is to ease that anxiety, to calm that anxiety. The more control they have, the more it soothes them internally in knowing that they have the control over something and what the outcome will be. They never want to take a chance of a bad outcome, so that's why they always have to have the control of everything. Okay, you guys, I'm going to move on to the next question. She writes, I like your channel on YouTube. I have a question. My spouse shows many narcissistic traits, but he doesn't care if I go to school, meet new people, or work for myself. On the contrary, he plays the victim, shifts blame constantly, hasn't understood anything I've tried to explain to him, and has always isolated himself from me, the silent treatment for days, as well as stonewalled. So I'm ending our marriage. He also controls all financial. Is he narcissistic, or what else could he be? Well, he sounds narcissistic to me, and he sounds like he's a covert narcissist. Number one, he plays the victim. This is something that covert narcissists always do. They play the victim. He also shifts the blame on you. Classic narcissistic trait is that a narcissist can't take accountability. They shift blame, all right? It's always somebody else's fault. The other big component here of why I say he could be a covert narcissist is that he can't communicate directly. You guys, go listen to my podcasts on YouTube or on, podcast. And I did a podcast about how covert narcissists cannot communicate directly. This is why they're passive aggressive, all right? So he's passive aggressive. That is a big, big trait of a covert narcissist, all right? The other thing, he's saying he can go silent for days and stonewall you. He's only wants to hear what he wants to hear. Classic narcissistic behavior. Classic covert narcissistic behavior is to kind of isolate themselves and freeze you out. And if he can't sit and communicate directly, what kind of marriage are you going to have if you can't resolve conflict with your partner, all right? The other big red flag here is she says he controls all financial. And this is so typical of a covert narcissist. Covert narcissists are very, very sneaky. They don't trust. And they always have like secret money stashed somewhere. So be careful when you go through your divorce. Make sure he doesn't clean out the bank accounts. You're probably gonna have a battle in court because, he's not gonna want to, divide the assets and the money equally. So, you need to get yourself a good attorney. But yeah, he's definitely narcissistic. But on the other hand, the fact that he doesn't care whether you meet new people or you work for yourself or he doesn't care where you go is because he may have checked out already in the relationship. So at that point, if he doesn't care where you're going, what you're doing, who you're talking to, he may have already checked out of the relationship. So, but he definitely is narcissist. There's covert narcissistic traits there. So yeah, he's narcissistic. Okay, you guys, I'm moving on to the next question, and what she writes is this. Hi, Yaz. Why does my husband not care that we stopped having sex? I tried talking to him about this, and he says it's because I told him so, when I clearly expressed to him that I miss us not being intimate with each other. Well, if he's not having sex with you, 9 out of 10 times, he could be having sex with somebody else or he has an interest somewhere else, all right? If they're not having sex with you, that is a huge red flag that they have checked out of the relationship, and you need to open up your eyes and see if maybe he's communicating with other people. He could be communicating with other people online. He could be sexting with other people. He could be having situationships with other people. But it's not normal for your partner to not want to have sex, you guys. And I've talked about this in my other podcast. And the fact that you said, well, you talked to him about this and he says it's because you told him about it, that is just gaslighting to confuse you. That is an excuse, all right? When somebody is into you, they're going to want to be intimate with you. But if they're not looking to be intimate with you, then most times, you guys, they have something else going on, and you've got to really look for those red flags to see if maybe he has something else going on the side that you don't know about, all right? Or in rare cases, somebody may not want to have sex, let's say if somebody died or, they're in a depression or something like that. So you have to look at the whole scenario, how he is in general. If he's normal, he's not going through depression or nothing big tragically is happening in his life, then if he's not looking to have sex with you, then he's pretty much checked out and he's just hanging in there, and he could be doing something with somebody on the side. And you need to be careful, because this is when people get, blindsided, and all of a sudden the narcissist says they don't want to be with you and they discard you, all right? A big red flag before a discard is that the narcissist doesn't want to have sex with you, or they're indifferent with you and they couldn't care less whether they're with you or they're not with you. That is a narcissist who has checked out. So take a good look at what he's doing, how his mood is, and, that is not normal. Every person that's in a relationship with somebody should want to have some kind of intimacy there. Unless you're like an older person and it's more of a companionship type of thing, but I don't get the impression that this is what it is. It sounds like he's making excuses. He doesn't want to be intimate with you, and you need to check to see if he's doing anything on the side. and it could be a precursor to a discard down the road. He also may be doing this too to disgust you where you walk out, all right? This is another thing they could do, is show you no love, show you no attention, withhold affection. And if they do it indefinitely, it's because they're trying to get you to a point of disgust where maybe he's looking for a reverse discard where you're the one who ends the relationship, because this way they can blame you for it and they don't have to feel any kind of guilt. But definitely look and see, if he's chatting online, if he's disappearing at times, if he's, missing in action and he's not responding to your calls and texts, he could be having something to do with someone else, all right? Okay, you guys, I'm moving on to the next question. She writes, "Hi, Yaz, a few questions. Is it common for narcs to also be addicts, gambling, alcohol? Also, can your supply to the narc change over the course of the relationship? I think mine, it started with sex, then companionship, and now I'm a casino gopher, okay? Before I had to do a reverse discard. I feel like he demoted me in supply rank." Well, number one, yes, narcs can definitely be addicts. Gambling, alcohol, drugs, porn, prostitution. Narcissists look for instant gratification, instant pleasure in whatever their thing is. One narcissist might be an alcoholic and they drink, that when they're depressed, they go and they drink a lot. Another narcissist may be constantly having sex with multiple partners to make themselves feel good. They're addicts because they're trying to fill that emptiness, that void within themselves with other kinds of addiction, like gambling, porn, prostitution, alcohol, being promiscuous. So yes, narcs do have a tendency to be addicts to these things. Now, your other question was, can you be demoted in supply rank? Absolutely. A narcissist can start with you and be lusting with you. And remember, lust doesn't last. Over time, that lust is short-lived. So a narcissist can start with you, lusting you, wanting to have sex with you. But then as time goes by, they get bored with it. It's the same slice of pizza. And so they may, demote you and use you for something else. A lot of narcissists, this is when they breadcrumb you, where they don't really need to see you all that often, and maybe they're using you for therapy, or they want a mommy or daddy to talk to. They're not all into the sex, and the supply may change where, now you're not, the prime supply, you're just a supply that fills in their time. You might be a supply that they call when they're bored at work, all right? Maybe it started out, it was very sexual, and then it got to a point where you're not having sex with them anymore, and they're just like calling you here or there, the breadcrumb, calling you here or there, and basically just, they need somebody to talk to. That's a supply, you guys. Keep that in mind. A supply isn't necessarily just sex and money and a place to live. Supply could also be you just being comforting, somebody to talk to, all right, when they're bored. So absolutely, they can demote you in supply once they get the prime supply that they want out of you. And it could go the other way too. They could start out where they're looking for a financial supply out of you, and then it wanes, and then they just keep you around, just for an ego boost or something like that. Okay, you guys, I'm moving on to my next question. He writes, "Hi, Yaz, just watch your video on the shifty eyes narc. My question is, my ex-narc girlfriend said those exact same things to me. She said there's something about me that she gets that is not good. I would always say to her, well, let's sit down and talk about it. Is something I'm doing wrong? Never a good answer. So I would always tell her where I was going, even taking pictures for her where I was. Turns out she was cheating on me for 10 months. My question is, did she really believe there was something wrong with me? And do narcs actually do that? Or, is it something else? Well, here's what it is, okay? That is an excuse. She was using that excuse that there was something wrong with you to give you a complex. She knew what she was doing, and what she was doing was projecting all her shame onto you. And this is exactly what narcissists do. They want to make you feel like you're the problem. There's something wrong with you. And why do they do this? To go justify their cheating or whatever shady business they do. So, no, I don't believe that she thought there was something wrong with you. I think she was using that and justifying that and trying to, make it seem like there was something wrong with you so that she could go off and do what she wanted to do. All right. So, when somebody starts putting you down, criticizing and judging you, all right, this is not somebody in your corner. You want people that accept you for who you are. If you get to the point where you have to constantly sit there and you always have to tell them where you're going, what you're doing, take pictures of where you are, you're dealing with somebody who doesn't trust you. And why don't they trust you? Because they don't trust themselves, all right? Because they're dirty and they're shady and they feel that you're doing something that they're doing, all right? But what they do is they project all that shame on you and make you feel like there's something wrong with you, okay? It's deflection. This is exactly what the narcissist does. They try to deflect it all onto you so you think you did something wrong. And then when they go and cheat, you're thinking they went and cheated because you did something wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You're dealing with a shady narc who, made up these kind of things just so she could go out and do what she wanted to do. If she was so unhappy, she should have just told you, I'm unhappy. It's not working out, right? But she didn't do that, okay? Why? Because she wanted to keep you around. So you weren't that bad if she's trying to keep you around, correct? No, but what she wanted was she wanted her cake and eat it too. So you guys, it's like this, all right? When they start with that, there's something wrong with you, and you're willing to sit there and talk about it, and they're not, then it's complete bullshit, all right? It's an excuse. It's an excuse, because if they really felt there was something wrong with you, and they can't sit down and talk about it, then they're using it as an excuse to make you think that there's something wrong with you, okay? Okay, you guys, last question, and this is a good one, all right? He says, this weirdo, okay, I love what he calls the narc. This weirdo always asking questions about my mom. I'm guessing she was jealous. My mom was a very classy business lady. I don't understand why in almost every conversation she was asking questions about my mom. Well, there's a couple of reasons she could have been asking questions about your mom. Number one, she wanted to see what your relationship was with your mom, all right? Maybe she wanted to see, are you a mama's boy? And, if you were close with your mom. A lot of women do this. They want to ascertain whether when they're dating a guy, how connected he is to his mother. That could be one reason. Another reason that she may do that is because maybe she's trying to earn brownie points by bringing up your mom or a member of your family, that you'll be impressed, like, oh, she keeps bringing up my mom. She must be a nice woman. She must be a nice girl or something like that. And the third reason why the weirdo narc may be bringing up your mom is because she wants to see how successful your mom is, because she's trying to figure out what your financial situation is, okay? Watch out, all right? If you're dating somebody and they're bringing up your family members who are successful, all right, or who may have money, they're trying to, size up the situation, whether there's money there. You may be dealing with a narcissist who's after money. They want to see if your family has money. So she's asking a lot of questions about your mom to see if there's money there, all right? And that could be a good reason. Like if she kept talking about your mom's job, like, oh, how successful is she? Or, does she live in a big house? Or, how well off is she? If they're trying to figure out how well off somebody in your family is, then you got a dirty narc there. A dirty narc that's trying to size up if you have money in your family, and they could be after something like that because they figure if you're connected to somebody with money, that means money to them, all right? So you have to watch out for people like that. She should have been focused in on the conversation between you and her, right? But she's bringing other people in, and she's bringing other people in for a reason. One, whether you're a mama's boy. Two, whether to see she has money, okay? Or, three, she's trying to impress you by bringing up your family. She thinks maybe, you'll like her more if you're like, always kissing up about her family members. But I think if she's always talking about your mom's success, she's trying to figure out if your family or your mom's got money. That's what that's about. So if you guys have a question you want answered, make sure you text me. The number is in the bio. You can text me, but text me only a brief paragraph, you guys, because I can't read through all the texts. Text it to 917-636-1109. And don't forget, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to my YouTube, The Game Exposed Podcast on YouTube. And also you could follow me on Instagram at The Game EXP123 for all my new posts. All right. Have a great day, you guys. And don't forget, share the podcast. If you guys are having a problem in your dating or relationship, or you're dealing with somebody maybe that's narcissistic, you don't know if they're a narcissist, or you're just having problems, you're in a toxic relationship and you need some clarity on it, go to the link in the podcast description for my website where I offer email and phone coaching. If you have a quick question, just a quick question, and you want to get a video sent back to you answering your question, there's also a link there for Vizio where I will send you a personalized video answering your question. Hi, you guys, it's Yaz, and I want to tell you about my 2 books on Amazon. The first book is Regain Your Power. It's all about power and relationship. Who has the power in the relationship? And it goes into all of that, okay? The other book is Signs He's Not Into You, He's Wasting Your Time, okay? Check it out. It gives you a lot of good clues as to whether you're with somebody who's a real one or somebody who's just going to waste your time. You could read them both with Kindle's free trial membership. So check it out. Link is in the podcast description. Hi, you guys. I just want to let you know that The Game Exposed now has their merchandise available. Check out the link in the bio, and you could go check it out. There's cool hoodies, cool sweatpants, cool hats. So go to the bio for the link. And also, don't forget to follow me on Facebook at The Game EXP123, and also on Instagram, The Game EXP123. Okay? And have a great day.